Part 3 of the Georgia Milestones Review deals with expressions and equations, which comes from Unit 3. This is our shortest section. It has only 7 questions, and we'll start with number 10. So we'll go number 10, 14, 19, 20, 22, 25, and then end with 29. Number 10 said Liam's dog Lucy weighs 25 and 6/10 pounds. She weighed 11 and 7/10 pounds when Liam first adopted her. Which equation can be used to determine how much weight Lucy has gained since she was adopted? Okay, so this is her total amount right now. Okay, so in my equation, something is going to equal 25 and 6/10 pounds. Okay, and as you can see, A, B, and D all equal 25 and 6/10 pounds. So we can go ahead and get rid of C. She weighed 11 and 7/10 pounds when Liam first adopted her. So that was her start weight. She weighed 11 and 7/10 pounds. Which equation can be used to determine how much weight Lucy has gained since she was adopted? Gains mean I am adding, so I would add 11 and 7/10 pounds to however much weight that she gained, which we don't know, which will be represented by X. So she originally weighed 11 and 7/10 pounds, plus she gained some more weight to have a total weight of 25 and 6/10 pounds. This equation looks exactly like D. So that is our correct answer there. Okay. A and D are your two closest choices here. And remember, when you solve an equation, you do the opposite of what's being done. In A, we would have to add 11 and 7/10 to both sides. So that would put us over 25 and 6/10. And this is as much as the dog weighs total, so we can't go over that number. So that's why A will not work, but D is the correct answer. If you look at number 14, says the perimeter of a tennis court is 64 meters. The length of the court is 23 and 77 hundredths meters. What is the width in meters, W, of the tennis court? Okay, so I have a tennis court. Now, a tennis court is going to be a rectangle. I want to draw a picture of a rectangle there. The whole perimeter of a tennis court is 64 meters. So the whole distance around the outside is 64 meters. The length of the court is 23 and 77 hundredths meters. Okay, so my length is 23 and 77 hundredths. Okay, and then it says what is the width in meters of the tennis court. Okay, so my width is represented by W. So width is W. Okay, so for perimeter, I have to have all 4 sides. Well, in a rectangle, opposite sides are congruent to each other. So my length down here would be 23 and 77 hundredths, and my width here would be W. So to find the perimeter, remember I add all of my sides together. So I'm going to do the walk around method. I'm just going to start with my length. So I've got 23 and 77 hundredths plus W plus 23 and 77 hundredths plus W, and that is going to equal 64 meters. And 64 comes from here where it says that is my perimeter, okay, the whole perimeter. So once I have this part of an equation, okay, I'm going to combine my like terms before I can solve it. So I'm going to start with my variables. So I've got a plus W and plus W. So positive W plus a W, another W gives me 2W. And then my constants here is what I have left. And I've got 23 and 77 hundredths. So I'm going to add those two together, and that will give me 47 and 54 hundredths, and which equals 64. Okay, so now to solve this equation, I'm going to draw my line. Okay, so I'm adding 47 and 54 hundredths to my equation, so I'm going to do the opposite of that, which is to subtract 47 and 54 hundredths on both sides. This side cancels, I'm left with 2W. Now notice how I lined up my decimal here. My decimal in 64 comes out the end, and then I have 2 zeros, okay? And when you subtract that, okay, you get 16 and 46 hundredths. And then I want to divide both sides by 2. That side cancels, and W equals 8 and 23 hundredths. So the width is 8 and 23 hundredths on both sides. Okay, so my answer there is B. And I can always go and check myself by adding up all of these numbers together. So if I have 8 and 23 hundredths, and I'm doing it here in a calculator, plus 23 and 77 hundredths, plus 8 and 23 hundredths, plus 23 and 77 hundredths, altogether gives me 64. So I know I did it correctly there. Come up with a right width. Okay, so always go back and check yourself to make sure you come up with the right answer. Okay, moving on to number 19. The store is having a 20% off sale. Michael says that he can find the sale price of an item that has a regular price of P by evaluating the expression 8/10 P. Susan says that she can find the sale price for the same item by evaluating the expression P minus 2/10 P. Who is correct? Okay, so we're just looking to see who's right. Either neither of them is correct, only Michael, only Susan, or both of them could be correct. Okay, so the easiest thing to do here is to replace P with a price. P stands for the regular price of the item. Okay, so let's say that that item was $15. Okay, so I'm going to replace both of these expressions with 15. So 8/10 P becomes 8/10 times 15. Okay, so when I take 8/10 and multiply it by 15, that gives me 12. So my answer there is 12. Okay, now Susan says that she can find the sale price for the same item by the evaluating expression P minus 2/10 P. Okay, so again, I'm going to plug in 15 everywhere there's a P. So 15 minus 2/10 times 15. Okay, so if you start with your multiplication, 2/10 times 15 gives you 3. So you get 15 minus 3, which equals 12. So they both get the same answer, so therefore we can assume that they are both correct. Okay, and this is where their answer is coming from. 8/10 P is 80% of that price because it's 20% off. So if I take 100% and subtract 20%, that leaves me with 80%. So I'm going to pay 80% of the total cost, which I said was $15, and you can make up your own cost. So move my decimal 2 times to the left, and I get 8/10 times the price. So that's where Michael's expression is coming from. So Susan's expression, P minus 2/10 P, comes from the fact that we're subtracting 20%. 20% as a decimal, move my decimal over 2 times to the left, is 2/10. So if I take the original price and subtract 20% of that price from it, then I will have my sale price. So my original price was $15. 20% of 15 is $3. So 15 minus $3 gives me $12. So they are both correct because they both get the same answer. If you do this problem and only one of and your answers are different, then only one of them is correct, and you'll have to do this part here to figure out who set up the equation correctly. Okay, so that was number 19. So right on down to 20. It says Cleo is 38 years old, which is twice as old as Laura will be in 7 years. Part A says, in how many years will Laura be as old as Cleo is now? Okay, so if Cleo is 38 years old now, which is twice as old as Laura will be in 7 years. So we're going to take 38 And twice means to double something. Okay, so we're working backwards here. So instead of doubling it, we're going to divide it by 2. So if Cleo is 38, and we divide that by 2, that leaves us with 19. Okay, but she'll be twice as old in 7 years, so she's not there yet. Okay, so we're still 7 years away. So we're going to subtract 7. So 19 minus 7 gives me 12. Okay, so then that means that Cleo, since Cleo's 38 years old, which is twice as old as Laura will be in 7 years. Okay, so in how many years will Laura be as old as Cleo is now? That would be 12 years. Okay, so part B says, how old will Cleo be when Laura is as old as Cleo is now? All right, so with Cleo, she's 38 now. And then, let's back up for just a second. 12 is how old that Laura is now. So to find out how many years Laura will be as old as Cleo is now, we have to find the difference between their ages. So 38 minus 12 leaves me with 26. So in 26 years, Laura will be as old as Cleo is now. Okay, so it's going to take Laura 26 years to get from 12 to 38, which is how old Cleo is. Now, how old will Cleo be when Laura is as old as Cleo is now? Okay, well, if it's going to take Laura 26 years to get as old as Cleo, then Cleo, who is 38 right now, is also going to age by 26 years. So her age is going to increase by 26 years. So we're going to add 26 to her age. And when we do that, we get that Cleo will be 64 years old. Okay, so we really have to see what the question is asking here. Okay, it's not asking how old Laura is, it's asking how many years it will take Laura to get to be 38 years old. If she's 12 now, it's going to take her 26 years to get to 38. And then since Cleo is 38, in 26 years, Cleo will be 64 years old. Okay, so 22 is the next. It says a profit that Abby earns selling jars of jam at a farmer's market can be represented by the function 8j minus 50, where j represents the number of jars of jam that she sells. If her friend Edwarda helps her, she doubles her profits. So which expression can Abby use to determine how much profit she earns with Edwarda's help? So here we have a bunch of expressions here, and we want to see which one would Abby would represent Abby's profit with Edwarda helping. Okay, so let's take a look at all these expressions. Now remember, when we have a number outside of parentheses, we look inside and see if we can combine any like terms here. And we can't in any of these because we have a coefficient with a variable and then a constant here. So no like term, so we're going to have to distribute. Okay, so let's start with A. We're going to distribute the 4 to both of these terms. So 4 times 4 is 16j. And then 4 times 25, 4 times negative 25 is negative 100. Okay, so we're going to think of 25, you're counting quarters, 4 quarters gives you $1. Okay, and then for the next one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to distribute this 2 here. So 2 times 8j is 16j, and then 2 times negative 100 is negative 200. And then for C, 4 times 2j and 4 times negative 100. So 4 times 2j is 8j, and then 4 times negative 100 is negative 400. And then for D, the last one here, I'm going to take my 2 and distribute it here. So 4 times 2 is 8j, and then 2 times negative 25 is negative 50. Okay, so I've got all these equivalent expressions here, and I want to look to see um, where it says that the function is now 8j minus 50. Okay, but with Eduardo help, she doubles her profit. So double means to multiply by 2. So if I have 8j minus 50, I'm going to double that. I'm going to multiply everything by 2. Okay, and when I do that, I should come up with one of these expressions here. And when I'm going to distribute my 2 to both of these terms. 2 times 8j, 2 times 8 is 16, so I get 16j. And then 2 times negative 50 is negative 100. So I get 16j minus 100. And that matches the first one, which was A. So 4 times 4j minus 25 would be her expression when she has Eduardo's help, when she's doubling her profits. Okay, number 25 is next. As Jamal is buying tiles to make a 12-foot by 7.5-foot patio in his backyard. He can use 6-inch square tiles, which cost $6.99 for a box of 50 tiles, or 18-inch square tiles, which cost $12.99 for a box of 10. He chooses the option with the lower cost. How much does Jamal pay for his tile, and what size tile does he use? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is draw out my patio. I'm going to make a rectangular patio here. And it's going to be 12 feet by 7.5 feet. And I'm going to change 7.5 to a decimal, just because it's a little bit easier to work with. Okay, now all of my square tiles are in inches. Okay, 6 inches and 18 inches. So I want to then make another patio, and I'm going to convert these feet into inches. And to convert feet into inches, I multiply it by 12. Okay, I'm going to do 12 times 12, which gives me 144 inches. Okay, and then 7.5 times 12 gives me 90. Okay, so this should be inches. And I did that because I need to find the area of my patio here. Okay, so I'm going to multiply 144 times 90. Okay, remember area is length times width. So 144 times 90. That gives me 12,960. Okay, so that's how much square area he has to cover. Now he can use 6-inch square tiles, so they're 6 by 6. Okay, well the area of that tile is 36 inches squared. So I have to figure out how many of these I can fit inside here. Okay, and I'm going to divide to figure that out. So I've got 12,960 divided by 36. Okay, now when you do that in your calculator, okay, you're going to get 360. So it's going to take 360 of these tiles to fit inside this area here. Okay, well, I'm going to take that box and, okay, so each of the boxes are divided up into 50 tiles. So one box has 50 tiles in it. So I need to figure out how many boxes I'm going to need. So I'm going to take that 360 and then I'm going to divide that by the 50 tiles in the box. Okay, and 360 divided by 50 leaves me with 7 2/10. Okay, I can't buy 2/10 of a box, so I'm going to have to round that up and buy 8 boxes. Okay, so that's 8 boxes of tile I have to buy. Now I'm going to take that 8 and I'm going to multiply it by $6.99, which is how much it costs for one box. So 8 times $6.99 gives me $55.92. Okay, so that was C, this one right here. So if he buys 6-inch tiles, he's going to spend $55.92. Now remember, he's going with the lowest cost. So I've got to see how much the 18-inch tile is going to be, and I want to do the same basic operations there for the same, for as I did by the 6x6 square. So for my other square option, I have an 18-inch square, so that one's an 18 by 18. Okay, when I multiply 18 times 18, I get 324. So I want to see how many of these tiles that are 324 inches square I can fit into this one. I want to take 12,960 and divide it by 324. Okay, and when I do that, I get 40. Okay, so I need 40 of these tiles in here. Well, these boxes cost $12.99, and they only come in boxes of 10. So I'm going to have to find out how many total I need by taking 40 and dividing it by 10. So 10 goes into 40 4 times. So I'm going to need 4 boxes. And each of those boxes cost $12.99. So I'm going to do 4 times $12.99. And that's going to give me a total of $51.96. Okay, so now I want to compare my two prices. This is my lowest price here, and this is for the 18-inch tile. So my answer is going to be B, $51.96 for the 18-inch tiles. Okay, our last problem is number 29. Says Kylie's buying a new computer. She has a coupon that will reduce the price of any computer in the store by $50. The store charges 5% sales tax on the reduced price, which inequality represents all the possible original prices P of computers that will cost less than $800 after the coupon and tax are applied. Okay, so to solve this problem, one of these inequalities has to be true. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to pick one of these to work with. And if we look at, we can start with, now it says that it's going to reduce the price of any computer in the store by $50. Okay, so, and our question says, which inequality represents all the original prices P of computers that will cost less than $800 after the coupon and tax are applied. Okay, so before the coupon and tax are applied, it's going to be above 850, at least 850 or above. So it's going to be either C or D. Okay, so A and B are out, and then C or D are your two options here. If you look at D, okay, let's look at D. What you're going to do is you're going to set it up, and it's an inequality, and we solve it just like equation. So we put our line down the middle, and we're going to divide both sides by 1 500. Okay, that side cancels, and then you're going to take you're going to take 852 and 5/10 and divide it by 1 500. Okay, so that leaves you with $811.90. Okay, now you have to take the $50 off, so you're going to subtract $50 from that. Okay, so minus $50, the price is now going to be $761.90. Okay, then you have to add in, okay, that was the $50 that comes off. Then you have to add in the 5% sales tax on this reduced price. So you're going to multiply it by 1 500. And when you do that, you get right at $800. Okay, now it doesn't want exactly 800. It says less than 800. Okay, so this one will not work. So we want to go a little bit lower than that. So let's try 850. Okay, so we're going to set it up the same. We're going to draw a line down the middle. We're going to divide both sides by 1 500. This side cancels. Okay, 850 divided by 1 500 is 809 and $809.52. And we're going to subtract the $50 from that cost. Okay, that leaves us with $759.52. And then we're going to multiply that by the tax, which is 1 500, because it's a 5% sales tax, so we're going to increase that price. And when we do, we get $797.50. Okay, so this is less than $800, so that means that C is our correct answer. Okay, and that's how we come up with that inequality.